Hey YouTube, Taylor here. I've got a vacuum leak in my E46. I got this O-ring off Amazon, and I'm going to take apart the DISA valve and see if this O-ring even fits. Alright, so let's get at it. I've got this pin removed here, and the T40 Torx bolts, one here, one underneath there. Let's try and see if we can get this out. And yes, I'm doing this on my front yard. So excuse the road noise. All right, one bolt. And let's see if we can get to this other one without dropping my bit. See, this one's much smaller. There we go, finally. And I dropped my bit. All right. Well, here's the bit I dropped. A lot easier when you remove the airbox to pick up things. Hardest thing about working on cars is not having the right tool. And I think anybody who's ever worked on anything would agree to that. All right, and out comes the valve, hopefully. Just gonna kinda move this out. And I think I see the problem. There is no O-ring here. So here's our valve. Pretty basic. So looks like this was replaced somewhat recently, and they put some grease, but all that grease has done is gather a crap ton of dirt and grime. See that? So I'm gonna get a paper towel, get off that grease, and we'll be right back. All right, so we cleaned off some of the grease. I mean, it's still dirty, but there's a it's almost like a press fit O-ring that's in here, and it's a little beat up. See, it's got a flat spot there. It's like it's almost have been like kinked in there. So I'm gonna try and get off this O-ring. The car was throwing a code 171 and 174, and you could hear it almost at idle, the vacuum sound. Idle was a little rough, so led me to believe it was this. And I'm gonna try and get off this O-ring and see if I can put on this this orange one. This probably isn't the right tool. I may have to get a smaller screwdriver. have to get a smaller screwdriver. Alright, so in trying to get off the O-ring, it basically just shredded. I'd say this O-ring was junk. Now I didn't have the right tool, but if it split apart like this, it was no good anyways. So try and get on this new one. Hopefully Amazon, here's the part number. Hopefully Amazon won't do me wrong. So that went on really easy. It seems to have a good fit all the way around. So let's hope this was our vacuum leak. This valve is still good. Still got some play in it. So let's put this back on. Now, this rag is not necessarily clean, but it should be cleaner than this opening. That grease that was on there was all it was basically doing was attracting dirt. Now, not the carbon buildup from inside, but dirt from the outside. All right. Hopefully I can get this in without hurting it. Right. Walk it up. Easier to access the screw started. Now I think this has a little further to go in. There we go. That side. Top side seems to be in. You're not getting too much of my freckled arm here. Let's see if I can get it from this angle instead. Now, if it wasn't such a pain, I would highly recommend you move this intake boot. This is really kind of in the way. Now, I do not claim to be a professional. As you can see, I am fumbling about, but pretty good at learning things and figuring things out, but only thing is I tend to make a bit of a mess of it. And then it works. Nice and snug. I don't believe there's a torque setting for these? If there is. If there is, I don't know what it is, but this is plastic, so can't imagine it's anything more than just good and snug. I have to admit, Torx bolts are not my favorite. So you guys are gonna get a kick out of this. This car did not come with the anchor bolts to hold down the airbox. So this airbox just kind of floats here. And this MAF housing into the airbox is probably the worst connection I've ever seen. So I will be trying to, I think Mishimoto makes a new short ram air filter with the block off. I think I'm going to get that to get rid of this, because this is trash. But it's pre-MAF and shouldn't be throwing our error code. That hose looks a little beat. Alright, let's start up the car. Here's the interior of the car. It is a 05 CHP. If I haven't mentioned this before, it's got M3 floor mats, don't get fooled. Steering wheel's a little rough. Got a shit ton of a lot of miles. You're gonna have to tell me what it sounds like when I rev it. Don't be too upset about the cold start revving. Car's already partially warmed up and it's like 95 degrees out in South Florida. So I'll have to clear the code, see if it actually worked, and we're going to be changing the valve cover gasket. I don't know if that's going to be part 2 or what, but this is shot on an autocross. It was leaking quite bad, so I'm sure that'll be full of fun and some drop bolts. So anyways, that's it for now. Maybe we'll go for a test drive a little later. All right, thanks.